Hi, this is Jules Simpson here from Thrive People with another episode of Love What You Do. And today I have with me the lovely Cath Hosking. What do you do, Cath? And why do you love what you do?
I'm the founder of a business called Smuggled Foods, which is all about smuggling nutrition and vegetables into kids' diets, which is awesome. But that's not really what your question was, which is what I do. I think what I do is I help businesses grow. And obviously lots of different ways I've done that over the last 10 years with some of New Zealand's fastest growing brands. That's taken many forms. Roles like head of marketing, head of revenue is generally what I do.
And did you go down this path on purpose or was it a happy accident?
So definitely not an accident. I think that's actually something people sort of get wrong about my journey. It's not been linear. There's been a lot of different milestones I've taken to get there, and I've had to take a lot of steps backward to go forward. So I've really approached finding what I love to do with a spirit of curiosity and kind of like Yvonne Chenard said, take a step forward if it feels good, take another step forward if it feels back, take a step back.
Nice.
I've just kept trying to take steps forward into the direction that feels right for me. And that's meant I've done a lot of different things, qualified as a lawyer, then worked in sales, digital marketing, head of revenue and sales teams, and now founder twice. So it's taken me a lot of different directions, but I've just continued to follow that curiosity.
Yeah, that's awesome. And a great realistic journey in terms of where you've gone and the different hats that you've worn along the way.
Really.
What would be one thing about your job that might surprise most people?
Yeah, so I think in my current job, I think what would surprise most people is that I'm going into food space with no experience in food. But more generally, I think the thing that people find most surprising is just how often I've switched into different roles, often without the experience necessarily to do that. And I've relied much more on passion than I have on experience. I think you can out passion anyone before you can outwork them, just because you're kind of obsessing with something in your mind. And it's pretty hard to compete with that. At the moment, I'm studying nutrition science. Obviously, I've studied law and marketing in the past, so I'm just loving the variety.
Yeah, cool. And talking about work environments, what does your work environment look like to enable you to thrive?
Yeah, so I've thought about this quite a lot, and in the head of growth roles or head of revenue roles, you're really having to be good at a lot of different things. You're having to be a good leader, a good strategist. You're having to be tactically strong and analytically strong. And for a leader to be very productive in their work environment, they need, I guess, two things, I think. You can boil it down, I think, to two things. The first thing is that they need structure, a way to organize and keep the direction really clear for their team and the structure underneath that really clear. And that looks like having a process to do that, but also having tools and technology that support that and to make sure that that really works well from the top down, but also from the bottom up too. And then the other thing is just making sure that you're keeping your own flame alive as a leader, as a manager, as a strategist. And that means making sure that even though there are parts of your role that you don't enjoy, and that will always be the case. I often say to other leaders, like you always have to wash the dishes. Like after a great meal, someone's got to wash the dishes, but that shouldn't be your whole role. So making sure that you're really keeping the stuff that energizes you in your role and actively ensuring that you schedule that time in so that you stay connected and engaged to your work.
Yeah, nice. Sage advice. Talking about advice, what advice would you have for someone that would like to get into a career like yours?
Guess it depends on which career you mean.
Yeah, true.
I've had quite a few different parts. I think the advice that I give to people most often is two things. First, don't be afraid to go backwards, to go forwards. I think this illusion that used to be kind of the tried and tested way that you're going to start as a junior, and then you're going to end up in a senior role, and then you're going to go director. Those type of ladder professions, they still exist, but they're getting more and more rare.
Mm,
Often you're having to take a huge step backwards or horizontally into a different role to grow out your skill set. And don't be afraid to do that. It might
mm.
look like a cut and pay. It might look like being wrong and not being as expert as you were before, but it's going to round out your experience in a way that's going to make you a much better strategist and leader. So that's the first thing I say to people. And the next thing is just follow your curiosity. it's going to take you to these incredible places that experience and a degree just can't take you.
Mm.
You can't outwork passion, in my opinion.
So true, so true. And if people wanted to learn more about what you're currently doing, where would they go to find out more? Smuggled Foods.
Yeah, I mean it's super exciting. I'm going to be sharing all of it, so you're going to really get to see from the ground up what it's like building a food business. Hopefully a successful food business. If it's a food business, who knows? I'm very active on LinkedIn, so that's a good place to start. It's kind of a month in. But we're also going to be all over all the socials, so wherever you consume, in whatever way you consume, we'll be on TikTok, we'll be on Instagram. Yeah, Smuggled Foods and Cath Hosking on LinkedIn.
Awesome. Thank you very much for sharing your insights with us.
See you, Jules.